So I want to share a tweet. This was from February 1st from Ted Mann. He's a reporter from the Wall Street Journal, one of the reporters who's been all over this, along with his colleague Heather Haddon. And Ted Mann was recalling that on December 19th, Governor Christie had said to his colleague Heather Haddon at the Wall Street Journal, "You and your paper will owe an apology to Senator Baroni and Mr. Wildstein." This is obviously before all of the Wildstein emails came out, but that was captured how sort of brash and confident, Christie was about this whole scandal right up until those Wildstein emails came out. I wonder, Senator Greenstein, if when you look at how he has behaved publicly since then, I know he had the town hall meeting this week. We're talking about how he's not rushed to Kim Guadagno's defense publicly. Do you think this has changed him in any way? He censors himself a little bit more than he used to. Is it just a temporary change for the moment? Do you think this has changed the way he thinks before he speaks?
I think the essential person is still the same. I think everybody's careful when there's a U.S. attorney's investigation, but I think he is definitely changed in terms of his public image, much more cautious, not working as a team with his staff, but pretty much firing people left and right. I mean, this is what's going on, and it's really a different man than we saw before. I think he thought that the brashness could get him through this. It could mean he didn't know as much as we might think. I don't know. But I think he thought his personality would get him through it, as it has so many times before. And obviously, when things began to go bad, they happened very quickly. It all happened quickly. And I think he's somewhat shocked by it also.
And nationally, Sahil, I mean, it might be the whole selling point of Chris Christie as a national candidate was that brashness, right? I mean, this is sort of like the guy who's traveling the country right now and avoiding the press. And I mean, a little bit of the old Christie was there at that town hall we saw this week. But if you take that sort of element away from him, he's just any other Republican at that point, albeit one with a scandal.
No, and this is a big part of the reason why I think he got reelected with 60% of the vote in a very democratic state. And this is a huge part of his appeal, his cross-partisan appeal, that other Republican governors don't share. So, let's see if he can salvage it. I really don't know. We'll see how this investigation goes. But I think one thing that could potentially save him is if this goes on for a really long time and his opponents are possibly seen as overreaching, which makes me wonder. For a question for the senator here, this investigation that you're helping lead, what would you like to see? What sorts of evidence, all the moving parts, what sorts of evidence and what sorts of conclusive sort of thing would you like to see before you can decide that?
Right now, of course, we're focusing on Bridgegate. Most of the subpoenas have to do with that topic, and those have been made public. And I think what we want to do is figure out the big turning point, of course, was Bridget Kelly's statement. There'll be traffic problems in Fort Lee. Right. We're kind of investigating that. I would feel like that's what we're looking at. And we're doing this methodically, somewhat slowly, because you almost have to with subpoenas. We're waiting to see what comes in. It is coming in gradually. There is the court case right now that's also been made public, trying to compel Kelly and Stepien, because they are two of the most important. And I think once everything's in that we think we're going to get, once we've exhausted the courts on this, I think we'll begin to question people and try to find out the answer to what happened.
And just to be clear, because your attitude, the attitude of the committee is that the Hoboken allegations, the allegations from Mayor Zimmer, are sort of a separate thing that you're content to leave to the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Well, I think everybody is probably, although no one's saying it, I suspect everybody's waiting for the U.S. Attorney's Office to see what they do. And I think that could change the direction of things. But right at the moment, we've decided to focus on that area because we think they're focusing more on the other areas.
One other thing I wanted to ask Charlie, just from a reporter's standpoint in dealing with this administration, an administration known for having a press shop that's probably about as aggressive as the governor himself. What is your view of the state of the administration right now? Is it functioning as it was a couple months ago? Is it in chaos? Are they, what is your view of how life is like inside the governor's office right now?
I don't know about chaos. I think they're definitely in damage control mode, and they are very circumspect, cautious about everything. I think they're hoping on Tuesday there's going to be the big budget address, and that they can turn the narrative around, put the discussion more on the state's fiscal future, and kind of hope that there is a little bit of Bridgegate fatigue that they can feed off of, or that there'll be a vacuum in which the budget will be discussed. But I do feel that that they are in this kind of damage control mode. They're very, what they say is almost very, very limited. It was always limited to begin with,
right.
And now it's, it's like sometimes it's easier to get. I would imagine it's easier to get information out of the Politburo at times than getting it out of there.
Well, here's another question. Will the state legislative committee's investigation have to look at one of its own members? We're going to explain and ask that question right after this.